What's up, guys, and welcome to the channel. We're going to talk about some Aqua Force goodness today, but first we have a couple of channel updates for those who are interested. Now, if you're just here for the Aqua Force goodness, go to this timestamp and you can skip the channel updates if you're not into that. Otherwise, I just want to say thank you guys for the recent surplus and support that we've been getting on the channel. If you guys noticed that earlier this week, I actually posted my first Vanguard TCG video. It was a simple trial deck opening of the Lyrical Monasterio, as I'm really excited for this new expansion set for the Vanguard TCG. And that goes to show we do plan to add more TCG content onto the channel going forward. It won't be as consistent as the Zero content, and it'll be as product comes out. A couple tournament vlogs here if my locals allows it, and just things like that. I really just want to share this new stage of my Vanguard journey with you guys, and thank you guys for the continued support, not only on YouTube, but on Twitch. So let's talk about Aqua Force. Now, a lot of people have given Aqua Force a bad rep, mainly because LJ is like a very popular deck and it struggles against a lot of these mass retire decks. It feels like they plus harder and they make Aqua Force go neg a lot harder than it has when it first came out. And so it feels like it's really hard to stabilize a board. And because of that, a lot of players give the deck a bad rep, or you can play Aqua Force, but there's probably better stuff that you can play. I've been a big proponent of that, and frankly, I was wrong. Like, yeah, it's a struggle bus sometimes, but just like any deck, if you really know what you're doing, you can really make the most out of any situation. And we saw that this last weekend when two players, not one, but two players, topped using Aqua Force in the QK tournament Discord server. So I want to share those deck lists with you guys. I got permission from the players, and then we consolidated their deck concepts into a singular deck core. It's not a full list, but it'll get you started if you kind of want to take Aqua Force in your own direction and start slapping people on ranked or in friend fights. So first, we're going to talk about the second place deck list. This was second place at the Coco Cup Weekly number 47. That is a Swiss Conquest event, which means it's Swiss. So basically like round robin, and you got to win with two different clans. So they brought this player, Yushasama from Team Mermaid Tail, piloted Aqua Force and Bermuda Triangle to a second place finish. And this was their Aqua Force list. Quite interesting, actually opting for all of the legions. Most players don't play this first grade 3 you see here. They usually just play the Tetra Legion because the Tetra Burst Dragon is quite good as far as legions are concerned. Because of that, you see that the grade 2s are a little bit more, there's like less freedom there because Yushasama had to account for not only the Tetra Legion, but also the other Legion. But you're going to see a lot of overlap between Yusha's list and the other list, you know, Glory Maelstrom, Diamantes, the Dendros, the Penguin Soldiers. They swapped Wave Assault, Wave Assault for the Legion version because it's free. And, you know, new PGs. This is pretty standard, like core stuff for Aquas. And, you know, shout out to Yushasama. Thank you for sharing your list. Next, we have QK Slumps list. This won first place, so got first place at the Stella Birthday Tournament, which is not a QK hosted tournament, but we did get help from myself and some QK TOs. So kind of QK partnered. And so the goal of Lump's list here is to still use a Tetra Legion, but you know, he's got the Maelstrom Reverse so instead of the other Legion, and kind of filling out the slot with other grade 3s, and actually adding a second Diamantes because I guess he really likes to sit on Glory, or sometimes, you know, since he's on Maelstrom Reverse, he can't use that grade 2 Legion mate to get the multi-attacks. In the grade 2s, because he's not playing the other Legion's mate, he has a lot more space for stuff like Basils and more title assaults, which is just a really good card, especially with his starter that he chose here, the Marios. And then in the grade 1s, you know, Penguins, the new Legion version of Wheel Assault, and, you know, like new PGs. Of course, he is playing Wheel Assault here because he wants to make sure that he can hit 4 times against LJ, just kind of leave the column open and let him lock 1. And that strategy seemed to work very well for these players. We did see Aqua Force clap all the meta decks, all the anti-meta decks this last weekend at the QK Tournament Discord server. And that is his list. Again, big shout out to B-Lump and or Slump and Yusha for sharing your lists with us and kind of like helping the community, you know, figure out Aqua Force, right? With that, we're gonna get into the deck core. And so this is what I came up with after looking at Yusha Sama's list, looking at Slumped list, and then kind of seeing what other Aqua Force players are doing. This isn't an end-all be-all. This is just the beginning of what could be a great opening for Aqua Force players to really get some deck representation and what feels like a Paladin and Lizards meta. Again, you're going to see some key pieces here. The Diamantes, we've seen that pretty consistently, so we play at least one. We play the Tetra Burst Legion here, and of course we play the Glory Maelstrom. I think those are like your key pieces. You should have an alternate ride here, and you don't need to have 4 of it. If you want to make space for more Diamantes and only play like 1 or 2 extra ride targets, I think that works very well. Just as long as you can get like at least 5 ride targets, I think it makes this deck a little bit more consistent and gives you more options in your matchups. In the grade 2s, we gotta talk about Starless, which is basically the new Diamantes and Basil for your Legion Aqua Force pieces. It's a nice, beautiful 12k, and it's a grade 2, so you get Intercept, which is pretty good. If it does end up staying in the front row, of course. This card's good, but if you're playing alternate grade 3s that aren't Legion based, it might be beneficial to keep this as a 3 of and play stuff like Basil, maybe some more Tidal Assaults, just so you have consistent ways to get 4 attacks when you're not on Legion. And then in the grade 1s, yeah, we have the Dendros, we have the PGs, and we have the new Wheel Assault Tempest Border. But for the Legion, it's free and it saves up CB for Glory, so you can be a little bit more aggro in the early game with your other CB uses, which is really great. Overall, I think this list is really this is a really good starting place. I guess like we can talk about Milos. This guy is the star of the deck. You gotta play 4 of these no matter how you play it, because it's got resist. Even if you don't use his actual like once per turn skill, you gotta use the resist. It gets around lock, and it also gets around retire. And so in those awkward matchups like Perditions and LJ, where they're gonna try to yeet your whole board and make you kind of like suffer for not drawing cards fast enough, this is really gonna slow down their game plan and make your desired tempo and speed more playable against those harder matchups. So he's a key piece. You can Legion him back into the deck using your Legion, as well as those extra Glory Maelstroms that we get with the Milo starter. I like this starter for this deck, especially with the new Legion mechanic added in for Aquas, but it's not the only starter. I just think that this is probably one of the best ones you could play right now, and it's also got resist. All right. Nope, it doesn't have resist, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, guys, that is the discussion today. Do you guys like this style of video? Should I do more? Let me know in the comments below, and of course, like, comment, and subscribe, but only if you really enjoyed the content today. This is Kokor and TCG, signing off.